I finished watching the season 4 finale, The Final Problem. Seriously, the episode was so intense, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. There was only one thing I didn't get. I'll explain it later because it contains some spoilers. As usual, before I go ahead, I must warn you, if you haven't watched this episode, there are spoilers ahead for you. I was almost completely right in my predictions. Almost. Eurus was obsessed with Sherlock. She used to draw Sherlock's death in her childhood. Just look at these pictures. I've counted 10 pictures till now. One picture of Sherlock hanged by a tree, two pics of Sherlock losing his head, two pics of Sherlock burning to his death, one gravestone with Sherlock's name on it, and in the last one, Sherlock is lying dead in a bed. She drew Mycroft too, but he was just eating an ice cream. And she also drew a picture of her family where she crossed Sherlock. Wow, that is a lot of resentment from a child. Usually, in case of three siblings, the two with the least age gap are the closest, even though they fight the most with each other. There was only 1 year gap between Eurus and Sherlock, but Sherlock used to play with his friend Victor Trevor all the time, and I guess Eurus was jealous of him. And maybe she resented Sherlock for choosing Victor over her and leaving her alone.
I had no one.
And Mycroft was too old to play with her. There was 8 years gap between them. As Mycroft said, Sherlock was too emotional in his childhood, but after his best friend's death, he was never the same. Redbeard's death was traumatic for him, and he forgot what happened by creating an alternative friend, a pet dog Redbeard instead of his best friend Victor. Mycroft used to check at discrete intervals if Sherlock is remembering anything by telling him scary stories and using the trigger words like the east wind, etc. in them. Mycroft was right. Everything Sherlock is, every decision he ever made, was defined by what had happened with Eurus and Redbeard. It explains why he started to push people away, why he never had any friends until he met Watson. Eurus said the Musgrave ritual was his very first case and his final problem, which means it started with his first childhood friend, Victor, and now it will end with his last friend, Watson, with both ending up in the same place, that is, at the bottom of the well. I loved how Sherlock considered Watson as a part of his family and insisted that he will stay.
This is family.
That's why he stays.
I also loved how Watson was able to calm him down when Sherlock was losing control by telling him that today they were soldiers.
Soldiers.
I was also right about Eurus working with Moriarty. 5 years ago, for her Christmas treat, she asked Mycroft for 5 minutes of unsupervised conversation with Moriarty. It was just 5 minutes, and she planned everything. Or maybe they somehow figured out a way to communicate with each other. How else would she know about his death and everything? How else would she get those tapes of Moriarty? The only reason she asked for Moriarty was because he had shown interest in Sherlock. Even after all these years, Eurus was still obsessed with Sherlock. She thought Mycroft was too slow for her, but maybe she thought that Sherlock was more to her level. After all, he was a high functioning sociopath, and she was a high functioning psychopath. That's probably why she thought that he can reach her in the plane and save her. Maybe it was her twisted way of asking for help. She did yell at the guards and ask them to stop her from killing Sherlock. Anyways, Eurus knew that once she reveals her identity to Watson, Sherlock will come looking for her. To play her sick games, she chose the place where she had full control, and Sherlock walked right into her trap. She doesn't seem to care about Mycroft as much as she cares about Sherlock. Honestly, I was a bit surprised when I thought she had reached Mycroft in his house. Especially because in the previous episode, she seemed to be avoiding Mycroft and was too focused on Sherlock. But it turned out to be Sherlock trying to get the truth out of his brother. Seriously, I loved this episode, but there was one thing that bothered me. If Eurus's mind has created a metaphor that she was on a plane all alone in the sky, how come Watson and Mycroft were able to hear the little girl's voice too?
Night.
That certainly narrows it down to half the planet.
Is it big or small?
Big.
After all, that's why they went along with everything, because they were trying to save the girl and all those people on the plane.
Today we have to be soldiers, Mycroft. Soldiers.
This was the only thing I couldn't figure out in this whole episode. If you guys have any ideas, don't forget to tell us in the comments. Also, did anyone else notice the water theme in this season?
Deep water Sherlock all your life.
First, the aquarium with the Samara story, then the swimming pool, and the scene where Sherlock made the prediction that something is coming. There was a reflection of water on his face.
Something's coming.
I liked the ending. It seemed so final, like the end of an era. Eurus was secured again, and even though she has stopped communicating with everyone and has gone beyond the words, she communicated with Sherlock through the violin. It would have been the perfect ending for the series, but I'm so glad to say that it's not. From what I've heard, there will be a season 5, although it will be quite some time before it comes out. Maybe 3 or 4 years. In August, the co-producer Moffat had teased that certain elements had been held back for a possible season 5. No one knows when it will return, but the actors and the co-producers have assured the fans that it will definitely return. Who knows how long it will take, but one thing is for sure. I'll definitely miss Sherlock. So, what are the shows you'll watch to fill the hole in our heart left by Sherlock? Don't forget to tell us in the comments. If you like this video, please click on the like button below, share the video and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day. Bye bye. See you in my next video.